Yo, what's going on, fellas? Six Bass Dunga coming to you beautiful people again with yet another video. So with less than a week until chapter 23 spoilers are supposed to drop, I thought I'd make my own prediction video for what I think we will see in the next upcoming weeks. I'm gonna also post a hot takes video sometime this week, so that's when I get y'all predictions. So just be ready to submit your hot takes on a post I will put on my community tab. So of course, before we get into the video, I would appreciate if you guys would drop a like on the video. It lets me know you guys enjoy these type of videos, as well as push the video further out into the YouTube algorithm. And with that, let's get into it. So with Boruto and JURA happening right now, I think the story is about to shift the direction it's heading in. And with that, I mean the negation of prescience. And with the negation of prescience, sadly that means KASHIN and KOJI's role in the story greatly diminishes. Back in chapter 16, Koji stated to Boruto that the more people that know the future, the more the nature of that future changes. Once you know a future, you can no longer just act like you don't know it. You start to move differently than before, even if you try your hardest not to. It's always going to be psychologically there. I believe this conversation with Koji will come back to haunt Boruto, but not in the way we all think. You see, throughout the duration of TBV VORTEX, we learned firsthand that having prior knowledge of the future is the best way to impact the outcome of the future. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. An example of it working was when Koji informed Boruto that the Shinju finally made their move into Konoha. You see, he already knew the Shinju would appear in Konoha, but to be more accurate as to know when, he already planted a toad in Konoha to give him direct surveillance of that area. And from there, he was able to alert Boruto in time for him to get to Konoha and rescue Sarada and Himawari from being devoured. An example of it not working is Boruto trying to destroy the Ten Tails before the emergence of the Shinju. He made it all the way to the Ten Tails dimension, but he didn't make it in time before the Shinju were born. So therefore, this is an instance where we knew it was going to happen, but they couldn't do anything to actually influence the future to the outcome that was favorable to them. Now, one of the most anticipated characters to make an appearance very soon in the story is Momoshiki, a character who's been missing from the story for exactly 22 chapters now. He was said to not have been seen since Boruto and Sasuke had their conflict with Code. At least that's what Boruto stated. He didn't state whether he had a conversation with Momoshiki during that time or not. Perhaps all that happened was him just trying to hijack Boruto's body, but who knows? We still don't have all the details as of what happened throughout the time skip. And according to how the story is going about showing us, we'll probably get more and more details about it in short flashbacks as the story goes on. You see, we got a pretty lengthy one in chapter 5, basically showing us how Sasuke was turned into a tree, and another one to show us how Boruto and Koji came across each other during the time skip. And we also got a very short flashback of Boruto and Sasuke talking about Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan's significance. So that's how the story wants to show us, just giving us more and more information as the chapters go by. So with that being said, perhaps we can get another small flashback for next chapter that shows us a glimpse of Boruto trying to use the karma against Code. And not only that, but what happened because of it. He described the feeling as him dying while being fully conscious and aware. So I really want to see what that looks like. Like, was he really telling the full story to Kawaki? I mean, if he did have a conversation with Momoshiki, would Boruto tell Kawaki what that conversation entailed? That probably wouldn't be the best idea, so I wouldn't hold it past Boruto if he just didn't tell Kawaki. He knows how he feels about OTSUTSUKI. Since Kawaki asked about Momoshiki, he really had to tell him something. But I feel Boruto may have left out some key details from that encounter. It feels too sketchy. But with that being said, this is the main reason why I feel like a Momoshiki emergence is so likely. As such a major character like Momoshiki is, the audience already feels like it's weird that he isn't a bigger factor in the story as it is already. Especially considering the fact that there was multiple opportunities that we could have seen Momoshiki make his time skip debut, and he just hasn't. The chapter I was most certain he would make an appearance was chapter 12. Boruto was knocked unconscious for a decent minute, more than enough time for Momoshiki's soul to overshadow Boruto's for the time being. Could it be that he didn't see it as a good time to do it? Or is it because he simply didn't want to fight Kawaki again? I mean, later on after their first fight, he said he didn't want to tangle with Kawaki again. So maybe it could have been that he just didn't want to fight Kawaki for some reason. And I don't think it's because he's scared of Kawaki per se. It could be another reason we just don't know yet. We often forget that other than Koji, Momoshiki has his own form of clairvoyant powers. And he specifically can only see the future through the eyes of Boruto. That's why the ability is so limited compared to prescience, which is considered the superior technique. I think IKEMOTO said that Momoshiki's foresight ability isn't even Shinjutsu, but an ability unique to him. So if anything, Momoshiki could have wanted to stay undercover until a point in time comes to where he could emerge and make the most impact. And for that, he would need Konohamaru, Sarada, and any others to remain alive. They would be the pawns in this little game. Because what did they do? They took care of Ryu and Matsuri. And because Konohamaru found himself in grave danger against Matsuri, that forced Boruto into action, which triggered the JURA battle. Now, there would be no way Momoshiki could see all that happening, but he could see Boruto helping and finishing off Matsuri to save Konohamaru, which led him to the situation here where he is about to get killed by JURA. You see, what was actually going on the whole time was his game, and everyone was playing right into it. Why didn't anyone suspect that along with Boruto, Ada, and KASHIN KOJI, Momoshiki could have qualified to be another singularity of fate? Because he does have the necessary information and knowledge on the future. However, he can't make an impact on the future as much as Koji and the others can because he doesn't have a physical body anymore. So if he does make any physical changes to the future, it'll have to be through Boruto's body. But in terms of him having that knowledge, he been had it. The whole time Koji was talking to Boruto about his ability, Momoshiki was listening in on everything and keeping tabs on what he was learning, especially when he said he would be killed by JURA. Now we fast forward to the present. I think Koji just confirmed that this is the time that Boruto is going to officially die. He even said to Ada that Boruto doesn't stand a chance now. He finished with no way out of this one. So that's proof right there. Boruto is destined to die here, which makes this the absolute perfect opportunity for Momoshiki to finally make his Tubu Vortex debut. As of right now, we don't have any additional knowledge on what Momoshiki's plan is now that Boruto basically stole the last 18% or so of his DNA for him to resurrect. So fully coming back to life through Boruto's karma isn't a realistic reality anymore. And then his other plan was for him to give up his body when he was forced into a life of heroic shinobi, but that didn't work out either. All it did was drive Boruto even harder to get his life back. But that's why I said a flashback now would be very important, to establish a new plan for Momoshiki to reach his ultimate goal. And whatever plan it is to get to his goal, he would definitely need to protect Boruto to get there, because that's his vessel. It's like a weird possessiveness he has over Boruto. It's like you're mine and can't nobody have you type relationship. So I don't think Momoshiki would just sit back and let JURA kill off Boruto either way. But now it makes more sense if there definitely isn't going to be anyone to come save Boruto. This could be his only possible option to stay alive. And the fact that KASHIN KOJI didn't see this outcome as a possibility says a lot too. Because if this is a reality, then why can't KASHIN KOJI see it? Here's what I think. We all know that Momoshiki is basically the fourth singularity of fate. He knows what's going to happen in the future, so he's an anomaly to the timeline. If someone knows the future, it makes it that much harder to predict because the future will branch off into more complex ways. He also said that the more futures you know, the greater you diverge from the track called fate. And the more you diverge from fate, you start to become a singularity, a heretical existence, which makes the future unstable. Momoshiki now holds the keys to certain futures because of his foresight. So he's a being that's able to diverge from fate, making the future that much harder to predict for Koji. So for that reason, I can for sure see Koji just misreading the future because of Momoshiki. The concept of timeline manipulation took a while to fully understand, but through understanding it, you'll see just how fragile time is. Literally anything could throw fate off course. So it's very important they do things a certain way and at a certain time to ensure the best possible future. Now at the end of the chapter, I honestly see them ending chapter 23 off a big cliffhanger. A cliffhanger of Boruto laying on the ground unalived. That means the majority of the chapter could be Boruto just struggling to stay alive against JURA. Very similar to this chapter. Since the Uzuhiko didn't work, this is when we'll see Boruto at his most desperate state. So he'll be using techniques that he normally wouldn't be using otherwise. Perhaps maybe a different point of view. Maybe we see what Konohamaru and the rest are up to. I say he meets up with Mitsuki and tells him what happened with Boruto, or if Mitsuki is still fighting against the Claw Grimes, he can help him with that as well. So that could be very likely too. But mainly I see another mini flashback for chapter 23 following more fighting between Boruto and JURA. And then at the end, we get a teaser for a Momoshiki appearance for chapter 24, which for some people it may be a little underwhelming because a lot of people just want to see Momoshiki now, but they gotta understand how IKEMOTO likes leaving us on cliffhangers for big events like that. So the odds that he just has Boruto fight JURA, get quote unquote killed, and then have Momoshiki emerge all in one chapter, that's not a high possibility. So yeah, that's really all there is that I want to say about that. What do you think we could see in the next chapter in the comment section below? Do you think what I said was more or less spot on? Or is there some key points I missed that I should have mentioned? You may think my prediction was nowhere close, but that's okay. That's why we all have our own thoughts and opinions. So let me know what y'all are thinking. And remember, if you enjoyed this video and wouldn't mind seeing more like this in the near future, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss another video like this or when I go live for chapter spoilers. And until my next one, I'll see you boys and girls later. And I'm out. Peace.